We've got waiver ads for every position today. Quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, and defenses to help you win a fantasy football championship. They're all timestamped down in the description for your convenience. And that last timestamp is for everybody, a contest/giveaway. I'm hosting an NFL playoff challenge. So once all the teams are locked in the playoffs, that will unlock, but you can pre-register at the link in the description. It's free to join. The winner is invited to my one subscriber league that I'm having next season. We're going to have a lot of contests like March Madness, different bracket challenges throughout the year, and this is the first opportunity to lock in your spot and play in a league against me. The other potential giveaway is I'm going to talk about that at the end, but there's $500 on the line if we do great and $500 on the line if we do poorly. So make sure you're subscribed and make sure you stay to the end to check out that contest and that giveaway. And we're going to start with the quarterback here, Tyler Shuck, available in 80% of leagues. Check out this game log. We're going to be looking at the last 4 games and see that all of his last 4 games are at least 17 points. That is a solid floor for some of you guys that may have lost your quarterback. Your quarterback is letting you down. 17 points a game is fairly stable. Plus, check out this week 17 matchup. I'm going to circle it here. I know it may be small for you, but it is the Tennessee Titans. This is an amazing matchup for any quarterback in the championship, especially for someone that's been pretty consistent and available in 80% of leagues. I know he's not going to be your favorite option, but again, if you're hurting at quarterback, maybe you're in a super flex league and your other quarterback's letting you down, Tyler Shuck is a highly available option with a great matchup that's been consistent for your championship game. But the running backs are going to be a little bit more volatile, and the first is Dylan Sampson. He missed this game against the Bills in Week 16, but if you did not see, I don't recommend you check it out. Quidshot Junkins had a nasty foot injury, just the kind of stuff we hate to see, but now he's got some backups coming into the game. Dylan Sampson available in 87% of leagues, and if he plays, we saw some potential that he flashed early in the season when Judkins was out. 17 points week 1, 11 points week 2. He had a good week in week 12. I don't think that Judkins was out that week. I don't remember, but he's had some good games, especially when Judkins is out, when he can get that volume. This week, they're playing against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Not the most favorable matchup, but honestly, as a Steelers fan, I know this is not the worst. So if you lost Judkins or you just need a running back or your opponent lost Judkins, grab Sampson off the waiver wire to make sure you block. And you may want to add his teammate Raheem Sanders as well. He took over as the main back with Judkins out, but keep in mind, like I just said, Sampson was also out for this game. But in Week 17, there's a lot of bench guys that you can just drop. I mean, we're not saving them for anything else. So if you need a running back, I would honestly add both Sampson and Sanders. And if Sampson misses the game, Sanders will be the clear lead back for the Browns. Now, again, the Steelers, it's not the highest upside option, but a lead back with volume is still viable potentially if you're hurting an RB. But my preferred running back, only available in 49% of leagues, so not quite the 50% we're looking for, is Chris Rodriguez Jr., a great waiver ad. He comes back from injury in this game. I'm going to show you in the Walter Picks app here, and you can get this with code NOBS. It's just an extra resource that is great for research here. And you get the snap percentage, 52%, but the rush here, 57%. 15 rushes, 1 target, obviously not that great, but he scores the touchdown and gets 13.9 fantasy points. And this week, he heads into Dallas, one of the most friendly matchups of the entire NFL, a team that has struggled. They struggled against the Chargers. The defense couldn't really stop them at all. So I do like Chris Rodriguez Jr. if he's available. Again, it's not quite 50%, but in almost half of leagues out there, you can add a guy who's a lead back heading into a great matchup in Week 17. Jumping to the wide receiver, we've got Parker Washington. Huge risk, huge reward option in Week 17. Starting off here, I'll point out amazing matchup. One of the best matchups in the entire league against a Colts team that has struggled against wide receivers. Now, a caveat that you're not going to see on other pages, one of the reasons you want to subscribe to this channel is that I want to call out specifically the matchups in Week 16. Brian Thomas Jr., covered by Pat Surtain, not favorable. Jacoby Myers, covered by Riley Moss. That was one of the toughest matchups of the week. The other corners on this team, or the other wide receivers on this team with Parker Washington, are covered by some of the best corners in the league against Denver. That left Parker Washington as the best matchup as someone that's been getting open throughout the season. But I also want to point out that he had 145 yards, 6 catches, a touchdown on 10 targets, 28% target share. But again, you can see that most of the season, it really hasn't been that high, especially when they face some competition that allows Jacoby Myers, who is healthy during this time, to do a little bit better than Parker Washington. So keep that in mind. It's not a guarantee. In this matchup against the Colts, Brian Thomas Jr. and Jacoby Myers will have better matchups than they had in week 16. And that's one of the reasons why Parker Washington shines so much. So I do want to say, if you're looking for upside, he is a good option, but I want to also highlight the risk of starting Parker Washington when his teammates are not covered by the best corners in the entire league. The other wide receiver I want to call out, who's even more available, is Mac Hollins. And this is kind of a surprise. We did not expect Mac Hollins championship week to be a waiver ad, but check out the last 2 weeks. This has actually been really interesting. Again, I'm in the Walter Picks app here, and I'm looking at the targets and target share. We saw against Buffalo, 36% target share with 8 targets. Against Baltimore, 21% target share with 9 targets. He heads into a very favorable matchup with the Jets. Keep in mind, this Jets defense has been getting worse and worse and worse since Sauce Gardner left the team. They've got Brady Cook at quarterback. The offense is struggling, giving the opponent extra opportunity to run offensive plays. And Mac Hollins, with his target share, again, if you're hurting at wide receiver, I know there are definitely some teams out there who are. Mac Hollins is a good option who's receiving plenty of target share. Now on to the tight ends. Next up will be the defenses and then that playoff bracket challenge. I'm going to explain the whole thing. So make sure you like this video if you've been enjoying it so far and subscribe for that playoff challenge. Only subscribers will be available to win the prizes. We'll get to that in a second. But Dalton Schultz, amazing ad, available in about 50% of leagues. He's really set up a solid target floor these last few weeks. I'm going to scroll over here. We see 8 targets, 4 targets, 9 targets, 5 targets. This was a pretty difficult matchup, but did he catch all 5 targets? He did, and a touchdown. He has a touchdown in the last few weeks. And when they look to Dalton Schultz, when they look to get that first down, when they're struggling, Dalton Schultz is the go-to guy. And against the Chargers, I think the Texans are going to struggle a little bit. The Cowboys did pretty good against them, but the Texans, they didn't look as fresh. CJ Stroud didn't look as good when he was passing deep, but he was able to hit Dalton Schultz. As you see, 5 out of 5 connections in this game. So if Dalton Schultz is available, he's been scoring touchdowns, he's been receiving great target share, and if you're hurting at tight end, this is probably the safest option you can grab off the waiver wire. But a riskier option that is higher availability is AJ Barner. We saw in this game, he did score a touchdown against the Rams. That was an insane Thursday night football game. This week, they have a little bit more favorable matchup against the Panthers. The targets and the receptions, he's got a decently safe floor. I mean, 5.7 points, 7.7 points. That seems like it's going to be the worst you get against one of these kind of middle-of-the-road matchups. And then he's shown a couple spike weeks, 24 points, 10 points, 12 points, 10 points, 11 points, 17 points, and 15 points. The spike weeks are possible with A.J. Barner. So this is someone I'd look to if your matchup is really difficult, if the tight end you've had is not producing, and you're just like, man, the team I'm facing in the championship is a juggernaut. I don't have a good tight end. He hasn't been reliable. Maybe A.J. Barner could bring some of the upside you're looking for. For our defenses, the Jacksonville Jaguars are only available in 42% of leagues, but close enough to 50%. I had to call them out as my preferred option. I do have another option that is higher availability, but wow, the Jaguars are legit. I thought they were going to really struggle against Denver. Denver has a good offense. They still put up 6 fantasy points in this game. The thing I was more impressed about was the Jaguars offense. I thought they were really going to struggle against Denver, and they kind of did on the first couple possessions, but they absolutely found their stride. They put up a great amount of points against a great defense using all kinds of different strategies, and it looks like their wide receiver core. We talked about Parker Washington a little bit earlier with Myers, BTJ, Washington, Travis Etienne. It looks like they just have enough weapons. You can't cover everybody. Brenton Strange was in there as well. Really impressive from the Jaguars, and what they do extremely well, why they are a great defense, is they force passing. They are extremely difficult to run against because their offense has been producing so many points, which sets up the Jaguars to be ready in pass mode. That allows them to get after the quarterback, getting sacks, maybe forcing interceptions, forcing some fumbles. And this matchup against the Colts is perfect. Phillip Rivers is so immobile. He's not moving around the pocket. That is someone that you can definitely get to in sack. He does make some good decisions, so maybe not throwing as many interceptions, but with the pressure, fumbles and sacks, low points, low yards, definitely possible against this Indianapolis Colts. And again, if you're worried about Jonathan Taylor, the Jaguars force passing. They're great against the run. He's still going to be an okay start. I'm not saying to sit him, but if you're like, I don't want to start a defense against him, well, that's why you can trust the Jaguars. Again, available in 42% of leagues. But available in 82% of leagues, I do like this Chargers defense as well, who's been looking pretty solid lately. I mean, the last 4 weeks, 8 points, 12 points, 13 points, 4 points against the Cowboys, who have a really explosive, high-powered offense. And this week, week 17, they're facing Houston, who did not look sharp really at all against the Raiders in week 17. They actually had a defensive touchdown, and that helped them get the win. They kicked so many field goals. They struggled mightily against the Raiders defense. I know Max Crosby's a great player, but the Chargers are going to be set up a lot better to beat the Houston Texans. I personally think it is a tough battle. It's pretty much a playoff game, but the Chargers, with the way they've been playing lately against the Eagles, against the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes, for most of the game against the Dallas Cowboys, this is the type of defense that, it's not my favorite play. The Texans have put up some decent points, but available in 82% of leagues. They may be better than what you currently have in your lineup, and they do bring a good safe floor, and as you can see here, some solid upside. Now, here's how you can get a spot in my subscriber league. Down in the description, I've got a free NFL bracket challenge. It works a lot like March Madness, where as soon as the NFL playoffs are set, you'll be able to pick who you think will win each game all the way to the Super Bowl. Whoever wins that challenge will get the first spot in my subscriber league next season. And there's some potential giveaways as well. For each round 1 and 2 at least, we've got a $500 giveaway potentially. So here's how that's going to work. I'm going to be making my picks. I'm going to be releasing a video here on YouTube with my first round picks, my second round picks, all the way to the Super Bowl, one each week. And if I get every pick right in the first round, or I get every pick wrong in the first round, I'll be giving away $500 to a subscriber. I'm going to be doing that in rounds 1 and 2 of the NFL playoffs. So multiple chances to win. Now, here's the deal. The $500, that's because we have 5,000 subscribers. If we end up with 7,000 subscribers, it's going to be a $700 prize. 10,000 subscribers, a $1,000 prize. The more people that are subscribing, each subscriber adds 10 cents to the prize pool. And we have about 4 weeks before round 2 is over, so there's a huge opportunity to grow that prize pool. And again, that's if we get every game right or we get every game wrong in either rounds 1 or 2. That prize will be going to one of you guys, a subscriber of this channel. So share this video with a friend, drop a like on the video, hit that subscribe button, turn on that notifications, join the contest, and drop any comments you have down below about week 17, your playoff predictions, because the more juice this video gets, the more likes, the more comments, subscribes, the bigger that prize pool is going to be for week 1 of playoffs and week 2 of the playoffs.